from a counter-terrorism point of view, it absolutely was worth it. We haven't had Al-Qaeda inspiring or leading attacks in Britain in the levels that they were across Europe and indeed 9/11 in the United States. So from that alone, do I think British lives have been saved on the streets of Britain because of our deployment? Yes, absolutely. And one of the roles of a soldier is to go out away from the homeland to protect the homeland. And from that point of view, I think our troops should be proud of what they have achieved. And at the same time, the education that we have helped and be enabled in women in Afghanistan, you can't reverse that. There are now educated young women in Afghanistan. And no matter what comes next, education is one way. Once you've got your education, you can hopefully use that for the better of the country. And so we can bank those achievements. What comes next in the future, that is, of course, to be decided. And we'll do our bit as an international leader in the international community to try and make sure that it doesn't go into reverse.
And 6 months from now, what do you predict will be the situation on the ground in Afghanistan?
Look, I'm not going to be in predictions. That's for the job of the intelligence services and the foreign services around the world. Look, I think we have to take the Taliban at their word, and we also have to hope that all the training, the hundreds of thousands of Afghans that have been trained by our military, the US military and other European nations, it bears fruit, and that they are able to hold their own and provide resilience to that society.
And I mean, for you, you've expressed disappointment about the fact that we're leaving in the way that we are. Are you confident that, how worried are you that things are just going to unravel? I mean, I know you say you take the Taliban at their word, but I mean, they haven't really proven themselves to be good to their word thus far.
I don't think it's a matter of worry. I think the simple reality is we have to be prepared for all outcomes. And there are a number of outcomes that could come to pass. We want it to be the outcome of a shared government, a shared peace, and to build on some of the gains we've had. But of course, if things don't go that way, we will be prepared for whatever alternative we have to deal with.
But what is the most likely outcome, though?
Well, I think let's see. I mean, we are in a position now where obviously you are reporting from Afghanistan. You see what's happening in parts of the ground. But remember, Kabul is incredibly important to the future of Afghanistan. And at the moment, Kabul is clearly under the control of the Afghan government, and many people feel it will stay that way. So let's see where we go.
And would you be ready to send forces back in if the situation does deteriorate and embassies are at risk?
I think we're getting into lots of hypothetical scenarios, Deborah, but the fundamentals is Britain will reserve all sorts of rights to do what it needs to do to protect British citizens and diplomats and others, and aid agencies if necessary. But also, we invest in those capabilities to give me and my Prime Minister the range of options that he can choose from should anything change.
And have we learned a lesson in the limitations of the ability to nation build?
I think what we have actually learned is that it's really, really important to nation build and not just deal with a military conflict as it is. And one of the challenges is what is short-term and long-term? This has been a 20-year deployment. Is it the case that actually long-term is much longer than 20 years? That in today's world, 20 years actually turns out to be a short-term issue. And I think history will suggest that long-term is a lot longer than 20 years. And therefore, politically, are we as a country and the Western nations prepared to really invest in nation building, or do we just visit for a few years and then leave? And I think what history is teaching us is that a short visit doesn't usually fix a problem.
And has the mission been a success, in your opinion, then?
Well, I think, as I said earlier, the mission's been a success from counter-terrorism. For nearly 15 years at least, Al-Qaeda have been contained or defeated in some parts, or certainly their leadership has been removed, and the consequence has been safer streets from Al-Qaeda. And that's good news for British citizens. Now, what happens in the future, we will of course continue to monitor Al-Qaeda. We will continue to make sure where they are elsewhere in the world, we challenge them. But that, from that alone, the counter-terrorism operation that we went into Afghanistan as part of the operation we went in to do has been successful, and that has brought us many, many years of peace from Al-Qaeda.